Okay, trying this again. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Live. I think I'm in the right window now. Um, how is everybody? Did you have a good week? I hope you did. I have, see, and I'm disappointed now because I was all excited. I put purple wax in my hair to make my hair purple, but it's not showing up that well on camera. And I'm disappointed because it's actually showing up better in real life than it is on camera. But I took a picture so that you could see what it looks like in better lighting. I think it's just this lighting, but you see it's kind of like a subtle purple there. It's not bright purple, but it's a subtle purple. It's not even something sponsored or anything like that. I have been getting this ad non-stop on Facebook for this, here we go, this Common Panda hair color wax. I don't know why, but Facebook decided that I wanted purple hair. And they have been sending me this ad non-stop over and over and over. And it's a washout wax that you just kind of like brush in, and then it supposedly turns your hair purple. As you can see, it's a pretty subtle effect on my hair, but that is the curse of having dark hair. But you know, it's fun. I don't think I would do it. Honestly, I don't think I'd buy this stuff again. The Common Panda wax. It's okay. It might be better if you have lighter color hair, but I find that it makes my hair really dry. Like, you don't want to touch this. This is not happy hair right now. And it smells like, you know, that perfume, what was it called? Exclamation. Do you guys remember Exclamation perfume from the 90s? It smells like someone, not joking, spilled a bottle of that. I will say, second time using it, because I did a trial run, second time using it, the smell is not as bad, so maybe some of it escaped after I opened it. But oh my god, it was so bad the first time. And the other thing is it rubs off. It rubs off on hands and stuff. If I go like this, yeah, see, can you see the purple on my hands? Yeah, that was not smart because I have white yarn in my basket. It washes off really well though. So if you get it on your hands or anything, it washes off really well, but hence you see the purple shirt I am wearing, so that if it rubbed off a little bit. So yeah, again, this is that Common Panda wax. Not the best experience, honestly, although I do like the color. Here's a better shot of it. I do like it. And I'm thinking after the pandemic, after everything settles down, when you can get like hair treatments and stuff without problems, I think I might actually go purple. What do you guys think? Should I go purple, like for real, like actual hair dye? Let me know. Just like this, like just a subtle purple, almost like a purple highlight. Let me know what you guys think if I should do that. I totally want to do that. Sorry, I'm putting it in a plastic bag so that it doesn't get on my yarn. So speaking of my yarn, there is a new pattern out on the blog, and I didn't bring it down. Oh, I always forget something. Every time I do a Lunchtime Live, I forget something. Let me see if I can real quickly get you a picture of it. Yeah, I can get you a picture of it real quickly. So what it is, it's my icing on the cape, which, well, that's funny. No, it's like icing on the cake, but icing on the cape. Cape, which is the pattern for the Furls blog hop, the Furls 2020 blog hop. Here it is. Open that and take you over there. So that's the capelet. And I know it looks very complicated, but really it's all double crochet with then like some single crochet at the edging. And even the increases, you can see the lines of the increases, even the increases are done in like V stitches. So it's not hard at all. It's very easy. I think the hardest thing about it is the picots, and picots aren't that hard. So, you know, if you can do single crochet and double crochet, you can do this. There's a lot to follow along with in the pattern because, you know, you've got to count the number of stitches on the edging and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just basic stitches. There's nothing fancy in the stitches at all. So you guys can totally do it. And that was made with Wims Merino yarn. Oh, talk about glare. Here, hang on. There we go. Wims Merino yarn, which Furls did give us for free for the pattern. And again, it's for the Furls blog hop. Now don't get thrown by all this stuff. This is just a tie that's holding it in place. And I like that it's all frizzy because you can see where the tie is and not cut the yarn by mistake. But this yarn is a, let me make sure I'm getting it right. It is 50% superwash merino and 50% nylon. And I love this combination because I love merino to begin with, and then you add the nylon and it makes it even stronger. And it's super soft too. It is a little heavy, heavier than you would expect from a wool, and I think that's from the nylon content. So that cape is actually pretty heavy. So when you're checking your gauge, you may want to block your swatch. I actually blocked my swatch with some clips stuck to the bottom of it. Just little like binder clips stuck to the bottom of it, so it weighted it down a little bit. That way I got a more accurate gauge based on what the cape was going to feel like when it was hanging on me with, you know, with all the weight of the cape on it. And then of course for participating I also got a hook, and I love this hook. Okay, so no lie, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a hook and I'm just not gonna say anything about it because I'm gonna hate this hook. I thought that this handle was gonna be really uncomfortable. But it's actually, I really, really like it. I mean, it took a little getting used to. I'm not used to this kind of handle. I'm more used to, I didn't bring one down, but a thinner, I'm more used to the squishy handles, you know, like the Clover Amour hooks. I'm more used to those. And I thought this is just gonna be bulky. I'm not gonna like it. It's a heavier hook. It took me like maybe 2 rows to get totally used to it. And then I love this hook. So, and of course, you know I love the look. It's the Furls Odyssey hook, and it's the metal tip, and then it's got the cool little pink sparkles in the blue there. So it looks all purpley blue. So, you know, I like purple. Can you tell I like purple? Okay. So this hook was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting to like it, and I really, really did. And what else is going on? On Monday, I posted the very last Scrappy Stitchers link party. Now, I know a couple of you are watching. Say hi so I know who's there. But I posted the very last Scrappy Stitchers link party, I think probably ever. And the reason for that is the Scrappy Stitchers Facebook group has really started to take off. We're starting to get a lot more members. We had a big spike recently, and I think people are more comfortable and more used to now sharing their projects on Facebook rather than coming to the site and posting a link through the link party. So I'm going to be ending that service. I don't know what that's going to mean for the link parties that were already up. The links might go away. So if there was something that you really liked that you wanted to hang on to, go grab that link and save it somewhere else, because the link may go away once I cancel the link party service. But meanwhile, we have one last link party, and that is up for December. I couldn't end it in December. I had to wait till the end of the year. So we've already got some cute stuff linked up there. I think I saw a gingerbread pattern, and there's some cute Christmassy stuff. So go look at that. Remember to vote for your favorites by clicking on them. And yeah, that's it for the link party. So next week, I am working on a hat pattern that I haven't named yet, and you can see it on my Instagram. It's got reversible ribbing. It's actually a plain, simple hat, but it's got a reversible ribbing so that if you fold it up, it looks different. If you fold it down, it looks different. I haven't come up with a name yet, but that pattern will be out near the end of next week. I want to say it's Thursday. I'm not entirely sure, but that is it's for another crochet. Oh, duh, that's for the Scrappy Stitchers Stash Bash. That is the Scrappy Stitchers Stash Bash pattern for next week. And I have a very exciting prize for you next week. I do not have a prize sponsor. I am actually buying you guys a prize for next week because it's something very near and dear to my heart, and I really wanted this to be one of the giveaway prizes. I'm not telling you what it is yet, but it's very exciting, and I had to end on a high note. So check back next week when that pattern comes out and see what this exciting prize is. Okay, so I think that's all the news, and then let's get to the part you guys really like, which is the demo. Today I am doing, there we go. Today I am doing more Tunisian. We started a couple weeks ago with a Tunisian foundation row, which is right here. And then we went into Tunisian simple stitch, which looks just the same as the foundation row, just like that. So today I'm going to show you Tunisian knit stitch. Let's refresh ourselves on the simple stitch first. Remember that this is the first stitch, right? So you don't pick up anything in this first vertical bar. You were picking up in the next vertical bar, and you yarn over and you pull up a loop. Yes, just like this. The yarn's at the back, insert your hook in the front, pick up a loop, right? So that gives you these vertical bars. Now I want to show you something different. This is Tunisian knit stitch. You don't go under the vertical bar. You actually, if you look at the stitch closely, let me zoom in even closer so you can see it really close. Do you see how there are two vertical bars? There's the vertical bar in the front, and then there's the back half of it too, right? So what you do for Tunisian knit stitch is you're going to go between those two. So let's look at this again. There's the vertical bar in the front, and then the back half of it in the back, and there's the chain on top, right? You're going to go underneath that chain, so not up here anywhere, underneath the chain, in between those two vertical bars, and pull up your loop there. So what that does is it takes those two vertical bars, twists them around a little bit, and forms that V shape you're used to seeing with knit stitches. I want to point out that this does this to the row below. Okay, notice that it's not doing it to this row. If I was to do simple stitch next, this row would look like simple stitch. Okay, with Tunisian, what you do almost always affects the row below. So even though I did 3 rows of basically of simple stitch, it's going to look like 2 rows of simple stitch and the 3rd row is knit stitch. Not that important if you're following a pattern, but very important if you're designing. So important to know that. So now let's do the rest of the row. Can you guys still see me? My screen shifted. Oh, there I am. Okay. So let's do the rest of the row. Insert your hook between the two vertical bars, pull up a loop. Okay? Keep going all the way across. Insert between the two vertical bars, pull up a loop. Pull up a loop. Okay, I've got just a couple more to do. Now when you're in the very last stitch, you can still see those two vertical bars, right? So insert between those two vertical bars. Now you've got this extra little loop on the side. Don't worry about that, ignore that. Just go ahead and go between these two vertical bars and pull up a loop. So now you can see you've got that little V-shaped stitch in every stitch, right? So we're going to finish this off the same way we finished off our other basic stitches, which is yarn over and pull through 1 first to create the chain that gives us the height for the row, and then yarn over and pull through 2 all the way across. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now I'll show you the stitch count at the end. We're going to have 8 stitches, and you can see we have 1 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 right here that is the edge stitch. Notice the edge stitch. Remember, we didn't actually pick up a loop for that, right? So that edge stitch is that sideways V, and it just looks like a little line. If you wanted 8 actual V's, then you're going to have to do 9 stitches. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Obviously, again, if you're following a pattern, that only matters for counting. It doesn't really matter for anything else, but if you're designing, it's important if you want a certain look. So these V's are the knit stitch that we did in this row. Look at this row. It still looks like Tunisian simple stitch, right? Every row that you do in the basic stitches is going to end up looking like this on top, which is why binding off becomes important, because when you do the bind off row, then you're going to create the look of that last row, if that makes sense. So if I was to bind off in knit stitch, binding off just means finishing the stitch kind of at the same time. It's kind of more like regular crochet. So you pull up the loop like you would normally do. And one example of a possible bind off you could do that's very low profile would be if I pulled this up and just pulled it straight through, kind of like a slip stitch bind off, okay? So what that's doing is that is creating that V and then closing off the stitch. Okay, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it would be to insert your hook, create that V, right? Pull up the loop, and then do like a single crochet bind off. So that's another way to do it. There's lots of different bind offs, just like there are in knitting. But the basics of the knit stitch is just where you insert your hook. So you're not going under the bar, you're going between the bars. You can also think of that. Remember I showed you the 2 bars and that chain on top? You can think of that as going under this bar and then back out under that chain. It's the same thing. See, that puts us right there in between those two. So it's the same thing. It's just underneath the chain between the 2 bars. Now I do have a full tutorial on Tunisian knit stitch that gets into even more detail than I did here. And if you want to see that, there's a link in the description. I think that's all I have for you today. So let me turn this back. Oh, let me finish this row for you though. We're doing, because I want to do 2 rows of each. Okay, and there we go. So then yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2 all the way across. I'm way too zoomed in, that's why I keep going out of camera. There we go. Okay. And that is Tunisian knit stitch. You can see that you've got these rows of like V-like shapes as opposed to these vertical bars. Next week I will show you Tunisian purl stitch, which is just as easy. It's another variation of where you're putting your hook. And hopefully I'll have that new hat pattern for you. So that's all I've got today. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next week. And let me know in the comments if you think that I should go purple for real, once we get back to, you know, normal life. Okay.